Hi, everybody. Happy Sunday evening. It's Laurie here from the Mojo Mama, and I'm coming here tonight to talk to you about what it is that your Sunday night routine is either doing for or lacking of, and how it has a direct influence on your life. So every Sunday, I like to take a few minutes, about 15 to 20 minutes, and I sit down and I be very intentional with planning out my week. Now, there's a great resource that I have for free for any busy mom who's looking to get a little bit more organized. And a lot of the routines that I do in that free resource, which you can get at my website, the Mojo Mama with 1m.com. And I take a lot of that, and what I do is I apply it to my everyday living in the sense that I am intentional for my week. We all know as moms that we're busy and we are very scattered sometimes, and we have so much on our plate that if you really don't take the time to sit down and schedule out and be intentional with your week, you're going to find that you're not going to have the time in order to finish everything that is on your plate. And as a mom, that is a huge list sometimes. So I'm also a big fan of reading, and I love John Maxwell, and he has a book called Intentional Living. And if your Sunday isn't full with planning for the week, I'm afraid to tell you that your life and your weeks will turn into months, and your months will turn into years. And what's going to happen is you are going to have what he would consider an unintentional life. And there's food for thought on this live tonight that he talks about a lot of the things about being intentional. What are you doing with your days? What are you doing with your time? And that's why it's so important. And I often teach my mom, and we sit down, and I'm actually in 10 minutes going to have a call with my mastermind women and plan out their week for the next week. We are literally going to sit down for an hour call with four amazing women, and we plan out what we're going to do and make sure that they're hitting their goals and moving towards them every day. Now, it doesn't mean that it's massive movements, but every consistent small action is going to lead you to goals being set and then goals being hit. So let me read you a few things from John Maxwell and tell me where you think you fit. He says, intentional living always has an idea. Unintentional living always has an excuse. And so what I try to teach my moms in the Mojo Mama is that we all have the same amount of hours in a day as everybody else who's out there crushing their goals in their life. What the difference is the choice that we make to use that time that we're given, right? So as moms, we have lots of things on the go, lots of things to juggle. We have children's activities, we have partners or husbands, we have jobs, we have businesses of our own, and friends and family. And what happens is that if you don't get a good handle on how to deal with everything that you have coming at you, you're literally going to be in a state of overwhelm and chaos. So who's watching this is sometimes finding themselves in a state of chaos. John Maxwell also writes, intentional living fixes the situation. Unintentional living fixes the blame. So I have a course coming up starting next week, and it's called the Get Your Mama Mojo Back course, and it runs for 6 weeks. And I do it very intentionally at the end of the year so that we are ending our 2016 on a high note. We're not wasting November and December getting ready to set those New Year's resolutions, which either do or do not come true, right? So why waste a good end of the year? Why not make 2016 what you can? And so what happens is when we first start that particular course, one of the things that I ask my moms to do is to take account of where they are in their lives and how they got there. Now, I got to tell you, this is not the most fun exercise, but until you get a grasp on where you are, it's very difficult for you to move forward in your learning and in your growth. So we stop blaming and we take 100% responsibility for our life because we are in the life that we have because of all the decisions that we have made in the past. Just like at the beginning of this live, I mentioned that it's just like sitting down and planning out your week. You might think this is so simple. It's such a, I don't have time, Sundays are so busy and whatever they may be. Thanks, Sarah. But what happens is that if you're not intentional with what is going on in the week, you will not come to grasp and you will not move forward. So 15 to 20 minutes of your day on a Sunday should be spent in quiet time. Take your to-do lists, take your calendar, sit down, plan out not only what you have to just get done in order to survive and run your household and your life, but mama, please put something in there that moves you towards your goals. And so we start the 6-week course with that. Let me read something else from you, from John Maxwell. Intentional living makes it happen. Unintentional living wonders what happened. Now, it is the end of October. Halloween is tomorrow. Do you not think that you just sat there and thought, school just started and now we're at the end of the month? We're starting at the month of November and you're wondering where the hell the time has gone? Because this is what happens with unintentional living or lack of planning, is that all of a sudden time gets away from you. You don't know where your time has gone or has passed. And before you know it, it's a blur. And weeks turn into months. Months turn into years. Just take stock of this year, for example, 2016. So where did you plan to start this year? What were the intentions that you wanted to start this year? What were the New Year's resolutions that you set for this year? And on October the 30th of 2016, have you hit them? And if you have, that's amazing. You must have been intentional with your planning and your goal setting. If you haven't, something has been missing. And so I am excited about Sundays. I sit in my office, I have my planner, I take 15 to 20 minutes out, I think about what I have to do next week, and I intentionally make space and room for it in my life so that it gets done. Because if you don't, time passes and you actually will not get what it is that you want done. The last thing that John Maxwell says here in part of his book is intentional living says, here's something that I can do. Unintentional living says, why doesn't someone else do something? And I think that's what happens when we let our life go by, when we don't take the bull by the horns, when we don't map out where we want to go. Shit happens, time flies, and before you know it, you're in the same damn place as you were last year, this year. And next year in 2017, if you don't be intentional with what's happening, you will find yourself in the same damn place next year at this time. And so like I said, I have 4 minutes before I get on a call with my mastermind women where we sit down. They have made goals on the outset of September in order to hit at the end of December. And in order to do these goals and in order to hit these goals, they have to be intentional with what they're doing every week. Because if they're not, it's not going to happen. You can vision board it, you can think about it, but if you don't put the rubber to the road, the pen to the paper, the action to the will, it's not going to happen. So I come to you on a Sunday because I'm all about scheduling Sunday. I'm all about being intentional. Don't let time go by and you sit and let another month go by without something done. Don't let another year go by without being intentional. Don't let another opportunity pass where you have not raised your hand, said, I'm in and I'm ready to go. What the hell are you waiting for? The perfect time? Right? Like how many of us as moms have said, well, let's relate it to childbirth. I'm going to have, we're going to have kids. Maybe we'll have kids. Maybe, we're waiting for the perfect time. There's never a perfect time to all of a sudden just decide you're going to start your family. It just doesn't happen. So if you don't if you're waiting for the perfect storm, if you're waiting, not the perfect storm, but the perfect time, if you're waiting for the stars to be in alignment, if you're waiting for someone to come to you and say, it's your time, I think you should come, you'll be waiting for a long time. You have to decide what you want. And then you have to decide the steps in which to get it. And something as simple that you can do right now on this Sunday is go to your to-do list, go to your calendar, find out what you have to do next week to be intentional, to be successful, to be out of that a state of overwhelm as moms, and then write them down, make the time for them, and then make them happen. It has to be that way. So I just wanted to come and share a little bit of Intentional Living by John Maxwell. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about scheduling Sunday, and I want to challenge you this week as a mom to go out and, or if you're not a mom, I see my Heidi Brandts on here, then go out there and just, what are you going to do this week? What are you going to do this week to get closer to your goals? And Lord love a duck if you don't have a goal set. All right? We need to hang. If you want more information about the course that's coming up, you can hit the Learn More button up top. And if you want to schedule a chat and see if you're a good fit, you can do that at my calendar as well. And I encourage you to think about where you've been. That's right, Heidi. Think about where you've been. Think about where you want to go. And then think about how you're going to get there. All right? Enjoy your Sunday. Do your scheduling. Be intentional with your life. And hit those goals, Mama.